Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas, and today I am continuing my list of top 20 favorite movies of the 1990s, and I am doing number 10 through number 6 in this video. So I'm starting out with number 10 with my favorite anime movie of that year, one I saw in theaters. It is called Lion King. The Lion King. It came out in 1994. I remember seeing this on my birthday when I was a kid with a group of friends, and I absolutely loved it. Of course, huge fan of Disney movies at this time, and they were just putting out some of the best movies with Aladdin and Lion King, um, and Beauty and the Beast before that, and Little Mermaid before that, and they're just on this huge run, and this one was the best of them all, I think. And I know it like broke the box office record for an anime movie and continued to be the highest grossing movie for an anime movie up till I think Frozen broke that record uh, not too long ago. Anyway, so yeah, just a great musical. Uh, yeah, you got some Elton John, of course, doing the music. I think probably the best opening I've seen to a musical or to an anime movie and to a movie in general. That opening of all the sun coming up and them doing the Circle of Life song and seeing all the animals as they go to gather to see Simba, the new prince or whatever, the new lion that is being born. Um, and that whole sequence is just a great intro. Then you got the Oscar-winning song "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" Really great song, one of my favorite songs of the Disney movies. And you Can't Wait to Be King, Kuna Matata, iconic. Timon and Pumbaa, one probably up there is one of my favorite comedy duos of the side characters, as you say, of Disney animated movies. And also, it's a movie that I mean, it's great. It's of course it's based on like Hamlet, they say, um, but it has some really great emotional moments where it's even to this day watching it just makes you almost cry. I'm not gonna say what the scene is, but there is a certain scene you probably if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about that. It's a real tearjerker scene, and they do it so well. But yeah, this is yeah definitely up there as one of my favorite anime movies of all time. The Lion King, coming in at number 10. Number 9, it's a really good kind of action-packed thriller, The Fugitive. There with Harrison Ford on the main character there. Tommy Lee Jones, of course, won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role. Was really great as the U.S. Marshal, going after Harrison's character, I think Dr. Kimball. Of course, based off of a TV show, I think back in the 60s, The Fugitive, where a guy is framed for murder of his wife and is on a bus to go into jail. Bus gets hit by a train. He escapes. He's on the run. U.S. Marshals are called to chase him down. He's trying to figure out who killed his wife, and uh, he saw the murderer as the one-armed man, so that's where you get the one-armed man thing. And so he's trying to find the one-armed man and who, orchestrated this murder of his wife while he's being, trying to hide out. And it's just a really great, yeah, like I said, thriller. The whole chase scene after the bus crashes, or train crashing the bus, just a really great scene. And then just that scene of them chasing Harrison Ford, Dr. Kimball, through the sewers and him having to jump off, great scene. And then just a kind of a mystery movie of him trying to figure out who the real killer is. And I love that Dr. Kimball is, as he's trying to figure all this out, he's also like helping people along the way. And the U.S. Marshals, Tommy Lee Jones' character, is kind of seeing that. It's like, hey, is this guy a real murderer? Why is he going way out of his way to help all these other people? And he's kind of starting to change his mind about Dr. Kimball and is he really the bad guy? And kind of, goes to this, my duty is to catch this guy. It doesn't matter if he's guilty or not. I just have to catch him. That's my job. And then it kind of goes into this idea of like, well, but maybe he's not guilty, and and all these, so it's great, of course, back and forth between, like I said, Tommy Lee Jones, great performance, Harrison Ford, great performance. Anyways, yeah, just a really great action thriller movie. The Fugitive at number 9 on my list came out in 1993. Number 8 on my list, I don't have a Blu-ray at that one yet, but is a movie called A Few Good Men. Came out in 1992, directed by Rob Reiner, of course starring Tom Cruise. Great cast. I mean, Jack Nicholson gives. It's just, I love Jack Nicholson's performance. I think he should have won the Oscar for it. It's one of my favorite of his. As a really big jerk, colonel or whatever general he is. But you got like Kevin Bacon as a lawyer in it. Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak. I mean, just a great cast, and it's a great court drama with a little comedy mixed in there too. And I love a good court drama. I'm a huge fan of, because that's where you really see actors act. I mean, because all you have is actors acting amongst each other with the witnesses, with lawyers against each other. I don't know. You just get great performances, I think, out of good courtroom movies and in TV shows too. But this is probably my favorite, courtroom drama, whatever you want to call it, movie. The back and forth between Tom Cruise especially, and like the scene with Jack Nicholson is so great. I love that last scene with him and Jack Nicholson. They have the most famous quote of all time: "You can't handle the truth." Said so wonderfully, and there's a great speech there by Jack Nicholson, and he's just so great on the stand, just showing you how despicable of a character he is. And Tom Cruise really, to me, gave his breakout performance. I know in the 80s, I mean, that's when Tom Cruise really started becoming a big thing with Top Gun, Color of Money, Rain Man, Risky Business, whatever. He's really becoming this, he's a young, hotshot, actor. Well, then, Born on the 4th of July, he got nominated for an Oscar, so he showed his acting chops there. But to me, the 90s is really where Tom Cruise really broke out as one of my favorite actors of that decade. And this is one of my favorite performances from Tom Cruise. It's so charismatic, so fun. I mean, the performances are great. He's acting amongst these really great actors, and he's also, very kind of character's very funny too, and very likable. And I think it's very, like I said, that last scene, very great back and forth between Jack Nicholson and what what they figure out, and how they. I love the whole idea of lawyers, and figuring out how to. In this case, he's trying to get Jack Nicholson to admit to ordering Code Red, and trying to figure out how to do that. And it's really risky because he can risk his career, and just the whole thought process of a lawyer is always interesting. Of how do we uncover the evidence, and how do we prove our case anyway. So yeah, and this is one of the best. Absolutely love it. A Few Good Men at number 8 on my list. Number 7, one of the great suspense thriller monster movies, I would say. Jurassic Park came out, I believe, 1993. It's the highest grossing movie that year. It's one of Steven Spielberg's masterpiece movies, I think, and really changed the game as far as CGI monsters. I would say, I call dinosaurs are basically like monsters. I mean, they're these T-Rex, of course, is huge, but even the velociraptors are really scary. There's these scary creatures that are hunting down the humans in this island, and man, they are scary. When I remember seeing this in the movie theater and being very, very scared of these dinosaurs, and I've never felt that before in my life. That these dinosaurs look so real, and it's just incredible what they did with the CGI work and the animatronics that they used for the dinosaurs. And the music, of course, one of my favorite musical scores, John Williams, of course, always great. Really helped the tensity of the situations, of course, cinematography, and just Spielberg just brilliant at staging these scenes, like the T-Rex scene where he comes first see the T-Rex. You don't see the T-Rex until he finally, all the electricity power goes off, and then they're all stopped right in front of the T-Rex part of the park, and T-Rex comes out, and that's the first time you see it. And of course, I love the you see the water vibrate, and it's such a great indicator that something big is happening because the ground is vibrating and something big is coming along. Such a great way of drawing you in to, like, oh my god, like you can't wait to see the T-Rex come out. And then when it comes out, oh my gosh, amazing, taking out the cars and everything, and comes out right up close to the characters, even each one character, in fact. But the whole scene, just of course, is rainy, and just the atmosphere is so great. And the sound effects are probably the best sound effects I've ever heard in a movie. When T-Rex does his roar or whatever, oh my gosh, it's so deafening. Even you're watching on TV, you're like, wow, it's so loud, so real-like. It sounds like maybe what a real dinosaur would sound like. And I would be so frightful to hear if there was a real dinosaur and it sounded like that. But sound effects throughout the whole thing is great. It's old production is just amazing. Of course, Spielberg is one of the best directors I think ever, and this is one movie that really solidifies him to me. Is probably the best at suspense thriller, is what I call it, where you're kind of on the edge of your seat, like what's going to happen next. Something's around the corner. You're kind of the tension is building up inside of you in a way. You're kind of growing scared even before you see what's going to happen. Like the Velociraptor scene where they're both, and the two kids are in the kitchen, and two Velociraptors come into the kitchen, and they do such a great job of building up these Velociraptors as these really frightening hunting machines, very violent, very cunning too, and so you're very scared of the Velociraptors. And then have that scene where they're walking around and you're scared for the kids, and the kids somehow are moving around the kitchen, and the Velociraptors are looking for them but just missing them barely, and coming closest to getting them, and how they escape that situation. Just brilliant. Just one of the best scenes ever, I think. And so I absolutely love this movie. Since I saw it in theaters, still love it. Never been more frightening of dinosaurs in this movie. Even the sequels I don't think as good as this one, or even the Jurassic World movies are as frightening as this one. So well done. Jurassic Park at number 7. Last movie I'm going to talk about at number 6. Before I get to my top 5 of the year, my favorite, I guess I'd say my favorite comedy of the year, basically, is Groundhog Day. Starring Bill Murray there, Andy McDowell. This is just a brilliant script. I just absolutely love the idea, the time loop idea of like every day, waking up every day, and it's the same day. And I just love that. Just the way that they tell the story is so wonderful. Like, as you see, the first first day, of course, he's very confused with what's going on. Second day, he's still like, okay, something's definitely wrong. It can't be just a fluke that I'm living the same day over again. And so then he goes into this, different stages of, accepting what's happening to him, and even finally accepting that, oh, I'm living the same day over again, and then tries to figure out a way to use that to fill his own selfish ambition or desires, and use the fact that he's living every day again to try to gather information, or to try to do things like steal money, to sleep with a beautiful woman, uses it to his advantage. But then he finally finds himself kind of being empty. Living the same day over and over again just lacks the thrill of living life. And then he decides to, spoilers for the movie, he starts to commit suicide, but he can't kill himself. Even when he does kill himself, he still lives back the same day. The time still loops back forth. And then he gets like just super depressed because he can't kill himself. He can't find like joy in life anymore. And then he gets to this moment, and it's a romantic comedy really with him and Andy McDowell, where you get this moment where he finds that finding joy in life is to help others, and not to be selfless, not selfish, and to also he goes and learns skills like playing piano, ice sculpting, and then he learns people that are having trouble in that day, and he helps them out and finds satisfaction, becomes a better person. I always love movies where the guy's kind of a jerk at the beginning, but through the movie, his the character arc, the character changes and turns into a good person at the end. And this is such a great example of that. Someone being not really likable at the beginning and then turns into a very likable person at the end. And Bill Murray's so great in this movie. It's my favorite performance of Bill Murray. Mostly comical, a couple serious moments. Like I said, the romantic part of him trying to pursue Annie McDowell, even though she can't remember each day because it's the same day over again, and him trying to pursue her. And Bill Murray's just got this great ability, I feel like, to play a character who's kind of a jerk. He's good at being, like sarcastic and uh, being mean by what he says, is cutting people down and being real selfish and all this. But yet, I still liked him throughout the movie. Like, I didn't totally hate him, even when he was kind of a jerk. He was kind of funny, and in the way that he did all that. And so you still don't totally hate him at all. And yet, as the movie goes on, you like him more and more. Of course, at the end, he's becomes kind of a great guy. Anyway, so Bill Murray, I don't know if anybody else can pull it off as good as Bill Murray. He's just one of the best, I think. One of my favorite comedic actors, and able to carry a story like this. Like I said, it's just, yeah, I just love the whole story idea is just great. I love time loop story ideas. Very creative way of telling a story. Um, and I said, yeah, it's funny at times. There's a moment that makes me cry. Like every time I watch this movie, I think that's what really makes it one of my favorite movies. Is that even though most of the time I'm loving the story, it's making me laugh, but then there's the story idea where he's trying to save this homeless guy, but he can't. No matter what he does, spoilers for the movie, but it's like no matter what he can do, he can't save this homeless guy. And and the emotion that he goes through, doing that. I mean, I really feel it when I watch the movie. Again, Bill Murray's so great. Anyways, yeah, last time I watched this movie, I was like, I've seen this movie so many times, and the last time I watched it, I was just like, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Uh, I think that's not a big reveal. I think a lot of people like this movie, but yeah, it's really up there as one of my favorite movies. Groundhog Day, it's number 6 on my list. So that's the end of my list today. Please feel free to comment on what you think of these movies that I'm picking. Are these good movies? Am I out of my rocker picking these movies? I'd love to hear your thoughts on them and your own favorite movies of the 90s. Um, Next time I'm going to do my top 5, which I'm pretty excited because it's a great top 5 in my opinion. Of course, it's my top 5. Of course, I think it's great. Um, but this is really great decade in the 90s. As I'm looking through these movies, it's probably my favorite decade of movies, to be honest. Next time we'll do the top 5, and then we'll move on to other decades. But I just thank you for subscribing to my channel and for liking and watching and listening to my opinions. I really appreciate anybody that stops by and listens to me. So thank you and have a good day.